Hi, and welcome to the Feel Good Always podcast. I'm Becky Bradley, and this is real stories of love, connection, and remembering who we are. So, here on this podcast, I'm sharing real stories in real time. I today am recording a podcast that I had no idea I was going to record. I am sharing what is coming through because I'm being asked to. What has happened with Keira dying and opening me up to this level of expanded, really feel good always energy, where I do really feel pretty good. What has happened is that's come through surrender. So surrender looks like me getting on here and being like, what the heck am I doing? Becky Bradley actually doesn't want to share what I'm about to share because it's like, pretty wild what's happening. I want to have a plan, I want to schedule things, but Keira continuously tells me it is a resonance, it is a frequency. Give people a place to find you, give you a place to find you. And that I need to trust that it's all unfolding as it should. And of course I trust because I've seen too much. So I am now recording a episode that's going to come out before other episodes. They're not in order like I would have thought they were going to be, but this doesn't surprise me because it's always in perfect timing when I surrender to what I'm being shown and what I'm being asked to do. And so today I'm going to talk to you about the theme, which is coming in, that only love is real, and how that is being shown to me and how that is being asked to be shown to you through me. So, first of all, if you are listening, it's not by accident. You found me, you found this frequency, you are connected to the energy of the Feel Good Always, which is this really high energy. I don't own this energy, this podcast, none of it. I'm not saying it's coming from me. I'm saying that we all collectively came here at this time to raise the consciousness of the earth. And if you're listening, you're part of it. Maybe not right now. Maybe you don't completely understand in your human body that you're part of it, but you are part of it. And I can feel the presence of Keira and the angels and God and the higher selves of all of the people that are here trying to bring this forward, because people's higher selves find me and I just know things. I will be sharing in the future just like the ways that I was stripped away down to nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean just what grief expanded for me, because it did open me up to ever expanding levels, where I am very connected multidimensionally. I see things all the time. And when this started happening, it was a very intense energy that was coming through me. And because my daughter, Keira, had died, I was not afraid of the energy. And I know this energy is coming for all of us, and it can feel really intense, but it's actually really beautiful. And so what I am observing is the outer world. Some people, collectively, it feels like maybe a lot of fear is rising. And what I know and what I live in and what I am fully anchored in is full, that feel good always energy, where I feel connected to everyone. These aren't just words, these are feelings. And Keira has shown me over and over. And so today I'm going to share with you what happened yesterday. So, in podcasting, they say to do things a certain way. They say to release 3 at first. They say to SEO market it. They say to niche it. And Keira continuously tells me we are not doing it like you think. It's not about views. It's not about numbers. It's not about a niche. This is a literal frequency. It will find who it needs to find. And she says, stop doing useless. That was the other day. Stop doing useless, which just means just put it out there and it will find who needs to find it. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. It's why I'm sitting here having this conversation, because I am being pushed to share. So if you are listening, this is for you. Even if you don't completely understand what I'm about to share with you, your soul, the vibration, you will feel it in your body. What I have experienced is a feeling. It is not something that I could cognitively understand or fully explain. That's just not what this is. And that's most likely why she called it Feel Good Always, because it's a feeling. And I am learning along with you what this is. I obviously have had about a good year and a half in this very intense energy, and I feel fully anchored in this place. When I say fully anchored, I trust and believe that only love is real. That is all I feel. I am miraculously living in a space of really pure, beautiful, everything is amazing, and I'm connected to everything. I'm connected to all of you. That's how we found each other. I know when people are going to call, I have had a wild amount of stuff, but this isn't about me sharing those experiences and proving to you that I had those experiences. This is about you finding me through the resonance of my words. You found me. And there's a reason, because you believe and know the truth of my words on a soul level. And so, Keira, she died on December 16th, 2023. And December 22nd, 2023, we already had her birthday scheduled. That's 12/22/2023. And on that day, this is 6 days after she dies, I had powerful experiences of me asking for a sign and her immediately responding with a rainbow, which came through her brother. I said, please, please send me a sign. And 100 yards behind me, my brother says, Mom, and points out a rainbow that has appeared. The second I asked, she responded. We also saw thousands of ladybugs that day. And I actually spoke that day. We circled up and I started talking about how Keira was going to do her work on a higher plane, and we needed to listen, and her work wasn't here to done, and that we would all be changed through this powerful experience. And it was as if I was watching myself. The words were coming out of me. And I came home, and just so much happened that day. I've said this before, the Patagonia hoodie was laying out on the bed. I don't know how it got there, because no one knows how it got there, but that is the hoodie I planned to wear, and there it was, just laid out. So I began to have these experiences, but it wasn't about the experiences 6 days later on 12/22. It is about the way I felt. It didn't make sense, because I felt this beautiful connected energy to my family, to Keira. I felt okay, which really didn't make sense. And so this 12/22 connection begins before I know what it means. And over time, she has begun to send us signs and connection, one after another. As I am grieving, I am having this connect and that connect. And I think of something and it appears, and I have a thought and I open the book and there's the answer. Or I show up at the store, and I could go on and on about that. Or I plan a trip to Costa Rica. I planned a trip to Costa Rica a year after she dies. This is planned like 6 months and ahead of time. And we end up flying out on 12/22. Now, I do not know the significance of this number, 12/22, when I plan it. I just don't know. When we left to go to Costa Rica, everybody in the family on 3 different flights, we all got seat 22. It was 2 hours and 2 minutes to get to the airport. My friend's was 2 hours and 22 minutes. Once we got there, we were at gate 22. The plane, I could go on. We were like, what is happening? And that Costa Rica trip was an amazing amount of synchronicities. And we're at like thousands at this point. I just had a ton of connection to 12/22. And I began to realize there's a significance to this number. I already know 22s are numbers. And there's a significance to many numbers, as I've shared, but I'm sharing specifically about 12/22 because this is what happened yesterday. And what happened is I woke up in the morning. Now, I am excited to wake up because I experience a multidimensional level of connection where I am being shown what to do. This podcast is beautiful for me. I love it. It doesn't feel like work because it's so completely aligned, and I am being helped by a team, including myself. My higher self is helping. Your higher selves are helping. If you're listening, your higher self brought you here. So I have this whole team that's just like coming through me, and I wake up and I'm excited. I live in a feel good always energy. That is the truth. That's why she calls it feel good always. My family lives very, very fully. It doesn't make sense on a human level how we behave. And it's not just that we got over it. It's because we're being fed this beautiful energy that's coming onto the earth that makes us not like feel different than our circumstances tell us we should. And so I wake up yesterday and I am going to do a podcast with my friend Andrea. That's not even supposed to come out for a month, but I'm already here talking to you about it because of the profound things that happened. I woke up at 2:30 in the morning, and I knew that they, when I say they, it's a team, they wanted to start showing me things. I already knew that this podcast was going to go longer. They started having me go through pictures. So I just get these feelings like I need to look back at these pictures, and I find hundreds and hundreds of pictures of really profound things. So I'm now in this energy of this really profound stuff that's happened almost a year to the date ago. And I start looking at that. And I also am very connected to Keira. I can connect with her without any tools, but I did start connecting with her where she literally was spelling out every single thing she was spelling out for me on this board, which I talk about in a few episodes that will come out. But as she would spell out word for word, she proved to me that it was her by telling me what was happening in other people's houses. And it was just wild that we had this connection, that I could connect directly with her. And I started keeping track. And I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages, which now the word transmissions has come to me. People say the word transmissions. Their Keira's giving you transmissions. Okay, because they hold frequency. And so she says these beautiful, pure light things that get spelled out word for word. And I've been keeping track, and I share that with about maybe 100 people now. At first, I'm thinking people are going to think I'm crazy. But as people started showing me themselves through their connection to this energy, through them showing me the synchronicities I was seeing, and I started sharing more and more. And so yesterday morning, she had me go in, and I felt a need to copy and paste a certain section from a certain date into my phone so that when I went to do the podcast that I would have that in my phone. I don't know why. I just do these things. And so I copied it in there, and then I started feeling fear. I started getting messages of fear. I'm just going to say it. I was watching this Netflix thing about the unknown number, which maybe it's a cyberbullying thing. I had watched it the night before, and it turns out to be the mother. Sorry, spoiler alert. The mother is actually bullying the daughter through sending her these messages from an unknown number. And I don't watch TV. So anything I'm doing, I'm like, why am I watching this? Why am I watching this? Because they're going to show me something. I knew the next day I would get a text from an unknown number. I knew it because that's just what happens in my co-creation with the universe. And I certainly did. I got a text from an unknown number, and I felt this fear energy come in because I'm probably feeling the fear from what I just had watched the night before, when someone's own mother is cyberbullying them for months, years. But I'm always looking at what is my life trying to show me and teach me here. So I get this call from the unknown number. It gives me a uncomfortable feeling. My friend Samia is experiencing a thunderstorm where she's at, and her dog is scared. And I look down at my watch, and somebody has texted me the word scary. And Andrea messages me that she was getting a message from her guides that maybe the podcast needed to be double recorded in case it didn't come through. Now, in talking to Andrea, she just felt the message. It wasn't that there was fear there, but when I got these back to back to back things, what I felt in my body was fear. Now, I got multiple things around fear, and I know too much and I've seen too much to know that I am protected by a group of angels. I don't worry about evil. I don't worry about anything coming into my awareness and messing with my peace, because it's impossible. I know that everything that happens in my life is completely divinely orchestrated, no matter what it is. We live in alignment with this energy, and that is what it is. So that I knew the fear was not mine, because only love is real. I know this. I've experienced it. I fully embody the truth that only love is real. So I knew it was not mine, but I still could hold it in the body. And all I did was think to myself, okay, I've seen too much. I know this isn't mine. What am I going to do about it? And I moved the energy out of my body. I went for a 20-minute run. I moved the energy. And what I heard was from Keira and everybody was, ask everyone to hold the only love is real. Like, ask them to hold the field. These are things I knew nothing about. And what that meant was that I needed to ask those 100 people that I send text messages to, where I send Keira's transmissions that are connected to this Feel Good Always, ask them that to hold the Feel Good Always energy, to hold the only love is real. And those were the specific words she said. And so what I did, I was going to be late to the podcast, but I knew I trust what is coming through. So I started typing up a message, and the message went something like, only love is real. Fear is not real. Fear is trying to come in, but it is not real. I am just asking you to hold the field, because I already know we've had this conversation. It is done, and fear cannot come in. But I'm asking you to hold the field from now until forever, really. But specifically while we were having this conversation, which was between, it was going to be between like 10 o'clock to like a 1 o'clock, sometime in that period. And I just knew to ask, like, hold the field. I've already seen that it's done. I actually see that all of us are living in this peace that I live in today. I see it. I know it. We are all headed there. I have fully embodied this truth, and everyone is coming with me. If you are listening, you're coming with me. So when I tell people hold the field, it's mostly to raise that collective energy so that people understand that we will breathe it into existence. You will breathe it into existence, and I am here, and I continue to move up in this energy. But I am there, that I don't doubt one thing that I do, not for 1 second. And so I ask that, and I get in the car, and all the people start repeating me back. So what happens is, what Keira calls it is a circuit. I am feeding energy to this podcast, and then you who are listening, whether you're talking to me or not, you listening, even if it's 15 days, 2 years from when I record, it feeds back that energy, because time is all happening now. So I feel the energy. I feel the energy from you, and then it just builds and builds and builds. And so I can feel the energy. I feed it to you, you feed it back to me, and then it goes back up to the angels up. They're right here. There is no up or down, at least as I understand it. So they feed it to me. I feed it to you. You feed it back to me. And this is this constant cycle. It's like a circuit of energy. That's why when Kristen started the podcast a few weeks ago, she experienced lots of synchronicities. I told her that's because this circuit of energy, even if you're sitting in the house, you can feel it. It's why the guys at the podcast studio had to get new microphones, because the energy is high. The frequency is high. And it's not better or worse. It feels better, but it is high. And so as I sent those messages out to everyone in the field, whether they embodied the truth of knowing in their human bodies that they were holding the energy for me, they could have been at their jobs, completely forgot. Their higher selves were holding the energy. Your higher selves were holding the energy. And I could feel it, and I knew, and I drove to this podcast knowing that truth would come out, even when I didn't when I was afraid to share. Becky Bradley doesn't want to completely share what has happened to me, to share my story, because it's out of this world. But I knew, because they began to tell me, we are going to start sharing this story. And then they asked me to call the people in to help me to hold the field, because fear was trying to come in. And I drove down there. I saw sign after sign after sign. Many of the, I call them beings that come into me, are children like Keira on the other side. They send me signs. And so every license plate, every sign, it was like, we've got you. I felt like I was just driving straight into like in a movie, just driving straight into this beautiful, blissful experience. Like they are like, we got you. It was so freaking beautiful. And I arrived there and I have synchronicity after synchronicity. Everything is connected. I had asked people to look for the X's because I had seen 10 X's in the sky and X became a theme. I don't know what it's about. All I say is look for the X's. They're everywhere because they started to show me the X's. So we come into the call. The guys at the live action music, they can feel the energy. They felt it before I came. I walked in. I said, how are you feeling? I'm feeling amazing. You know, they could feel it because it's massive. It's this beautiful, you can feel it, I'm sure too. And so I end up going in there and we start the conversation, Andrea and I, and we could feel it rising. And we're beginning to talk about what happened a year ago and all this beautiful stuff that has transpired. And Keira asks me to share her transcription. So when I say she asked me, I am sitting there talking to Andrea on the podcast. We are talking about fear. We are talking about how only love is real. We are talking about when truth gets amplified, only love remains. We are talking about these things. We are talking about the fact that Keira said to me a year ago that I was going to need to help people when the change comes. And I thought, what does that mean? The change. What does it mean? It's kind of scared me. She said, all is coming. You're going to need to help the people when the change comes. But as I began to experience this pure light energy of feel good always, where everything is connecting every single day, all day long, I said, oh, I'm going to need to help people when this change comes, when we completely experience life as we know it in our own human bodies, this higher level of consciousness, because the energy can feel intense. It can feel scary. You know, we are co-creating with the universe. And that is what she was talking about. Another thing that she said is, when I said, what do you do over there? She said, I help people vacate this world and you are my feet on the ground. At the time, I thought she meant vacate the world, like in the sense of I'm going to maybe be a death doula and help people transition. But like I said, as I began to experience this high level of energy, of connection, of really this beautiful feeling very good all the time and seeing the connections and the synchronicities just nonstop, seeing my purpose here, knowing that I have a big purpose, that my child left this earth early so that I could bring this energy onto the earth. I started to see that what she meant, I help people vacate this world. She was talking about, I'm going to help people vacate this world as they know it. I literally have experienced a complete level of awareness. My experience, my consciousness is so open and so connected, and it feels so amazing beyond what words on this podcast could explain. It's only something that you could feel. That is what I've experienced. So what she was saying is, I am going to help people vacate this world. So vacate the world as they know it. It's already happened to me. I have already experienced vacating the world as I know it and trying to put it to words. And I am her feet on the ground, which means that I am here talking to you, explaining it to you because it is coming for all of us. That I have to surrender what anybody might think about me, that I'm pushing this podcast. I am doing what I'm being asked to do. And so she says these things through these beautiful transmissions. And we were talking about that on the podcast, Andrea and I. It's a feeling. I had a feeling that I needed to open up my texts, and I needed to, those notes that I had copied earlier in the morning, I needed to open them. And when I opened them, when I looked at my phone to start reading them, it was 12:22. So that was an indicator to me that, yes, you do need to do this. I already knew I needed to do it, but I get confirmation because 12:22 is a constant confirmation for me. And in those texts, I also, what I had copied that morning, it was 12:22 in that actual text. So when I start to read it, I can see that what I had copied from a year before was me saying to Keira, okay, tell me what it has to do with you. And she says, because she was talking about her helping Andrea. She says, okay, I said, okay, tell me what it has to do with you. And then I said, it's 12:22, by the way. So remember, I'm in the podcast. I noticed the time is 12:22 and it's 12:22 in this transmission. So we've got a double connection. It's this energy repeating itself. And she continues on, God is helping her through me, talking about Andrea. I ask her, well, what are you doing with Andrea? I am talking to her. She is listening. Andrea goes to so many good places. She is needed to help us. So she goes on and on about that. And at the bottom of this transcription, like I'm telling you guys, I don't even want to really be reading it to you now because it's so personal. And, you know, people have a lot of questions and I get that. I'm just sharing a frequency with you. And what Keira said a year ago, this is what she said, and this is what I read on the podcast. Everyone feels scared of this, but God is helping you. God is helping you so you can help them. And then I say to her, so are you talking about everyone is currently scared? And she says, yes. I said, what are they afraid of? I'm not afraid. Andrea's not afraid. And she says, so much fear, and you are taking them to God. They will need you, and you are going to be helping them understand what is happening. We need you to help people understand what is happening when the change comes. And then I go on to ask her, how can I help them? Well, here we are a year later, a year from that transmission. And you can see this multidimensional connection where in the transmission, it talks about the number 1222, which is already, that's the day of her birthday party, the Costa Rica. I have 100 stories that connect to 1222. And then she mentions it in here. And so the story moves on beyond that. A lot of things came through in that podcast. It ended up being exactly 2 hours on the dot. And that will be shared whenever they let me know. You know, I don't know. At this moment, I don't know. It's a great place to be, to say I don't know. But what ends up happening is I leave, we walk out of the studio, and immediately the guys from Live Action Music tell me that Charlie Kirk has been assassinated. And I don't know who this person is, but it's the energy that is coming in right then. I mean, it's the first thing they say to me. And then we move on, we talk, and I have like 100 texts because I have fed energy and everybody's feeding it back to me. And we're just like, wow, we just really shared a lot of truth, and it's powerful what we shared in there. But what began to happen, I had sent a message to another person, Becca. I'm just going to tell you who it was, Becca, because she's going to be on the podcast soon. Of course, she's already scheduled, because on this podcast, I'm literally just interviewing people that are connected to this energy. That's it. I don't know who's coming on except for the people that are connected to this literal higher consciousness that's coming onto the earth. They find me and then I bring them to you and we do this work together. Becca teaches 2 yoga classes, does not read my message about help me hold the field, only love is real, but she reads it at the perfect moment. She reads it as she gets into her car. She acknowledges it. She turns on her music. She usually listens to music, but decides to listen to the news. And that is when she gets the news of Charlie. And on the radio, what she hears is that he died. The words that come on immediately were that he was shot at 12:22. And so she messages me that, and immediately I feel this multidimensional connection. So we have 1222 has been a constant connection for me, for Keira. It was her birthday that was already planned before she died, where I began to feel this wild amount of energy. It was the Costa Rica trip, and there's a ton of stuff in between. It's what I copy and pasted into my phone that morning when I finally feel the need. I had no idea what time it was. I look at my phone, it's 1222. At the exact moment that this man is taken, his life is taken from him, I have a feeling, because I am connected to the energy of the collective. I am connected to it. I have a feeling to read this message, and I read it on the podcast. And of course, in that message, there's also the 1222. And one of the people that I send the message to hold the field, that only love is real, that fear cannot come in, she hears the message as soon as she reads my text. You don't have to completely understand what I am saying to you. Your body can feel the truth of what I am saying to you. And so that is what happened. And I could feel fear rise. It is not mine. It is not real. I watched people get confused, pointing fingers at each other, mad at each other. If you're on the left, don't be friends with me. If you're on the right, this is sickening. He's a murderer. I mean, I could go on and on. You all know I will not feed energy to that. What I do know is that I know the pain of grief, and I know what it did to me. I know that when my daughter died, there was nothing left inside of me to care about how people around me were processing it, especially my local community. I can't imagine the world, because somebody in my life was gone out of their body. And so all I could do in this moment was send love to the wife and the children, because I can't imagine the collective energy around people trying to deal with their own pain of what has happened. And instead of actually feeling this pain, people start pointing. I'm not saying everybody, but people start pointing. And so I'm observing it. That's it. And that is why Keira said, hold the field. That is why she asked me to hold the field and to ask others to hold the field of only love is real before this actually happens. Okay. And then I write these beautiful words that I'm going to read to you that are on my story. They're on my Instagram page at Feel Good Always Podcast, or at Mama Becky. You can find me through there. And I'm going to read you what came through me this morning. And this is what Keira, the angels, this is what they want to know. And it's coming through me. I said, when Keira died, I essentially died with her. Every single part of me who I thought I was, gone. My job of 25 years, gone. My identity as Becky Bradley, shattered. The lives of my husband, my children, our parents, my best friends of 35 years, Keira's friends, Tyler and Maddie and Lila's friends, shattered. And in the death of me, I had no room left for the pain of the world. I could barely hold my own. But that devastation, it brought me back to my true self. It forced me to feel the totality of this human experience. It stripped me bare so I could see and feel what is actually true, so I could remember what we all know in the deepest parts of ourselves. Only love is real. So when the world starts spinning in fear, when people start pointing fingers and losing their footing, I will not get sucked in. I cannot, because I have seen and felt too much. I come back to what I know, to what I feel in every cell of my being. Only love is real. And I hold this field of calm, of truth, of love. And that is what Keira shows me through her life and through her death, over and over. So I keep remembering, and I am here to help you remember too. We choose the energy that we amplify. And when truth is amplified, all that is left is love. I choose love over and over, and I ask you to help me hold this field. We do this together. Only love is real. And there's the message. And that came through me. Everything I said today came through me. It is so beautiful. You are being asked, if we are all being asked to surrender. This energy might feel very intense. My heart My soul goes out to this family. There are many families struggling and suffering, them and many more. I know what suffering is like, but I know that I can't sit in the pain of the world and also help raise the consciousness. And so I am trying to calm fear, to transmit love, to anchor the vibration, to show what is possible in these human bodies, because it is possible to feel good always. It is. I am evidence of it. And that all I feel is love. So when fear comes in, I'm like, this isn't mine. Everything else falls away, and only thing that is left is love. So if you found this, you're part of this field, you're not here by accident. You are being fed this vibration, this feel good always, where we trust, love, and we remember together. We are remembering together. Thank you so much for allowing me this space where I can say this truth, because it's humanity that is calling me to do this. It's humanity. And maybe not on a soul level, on a human level, it's a soul level. It's how we find each other. And I will do it. I will keep doing it. And you will do it. And you will keep doing it, because we're doing this work together. And whatever you get called to do, it is the right thing. We can feel what's happening in the collective and know that it's not ours, and know that every choice that we make, we amplify the energy. So I choose not to get sucked into the pointing fingers. It will not help, and it is not real. We are all one. Those aren't just words. It is truth. We are all one. And if we are all one, we will understand that when we look at other people, we're only seeing a mirror, just a reflection. And we all have to get back to loving ourselves and loving each other. And we are moving into this higher dimensional. It's coming. It is coming. It is here. And you feel it, and that's how you found me. And we're on this journey together, I promise you. I stay here in this moment in the sense of, I don't know where this podcast is going, but I know that I have been shown too much. I have been shown too much to know that it's not true. And I hope that you believe and trust what I'm saying to you. And if you don't, that's okay. That is okay, because it will find you. The energy will find you. So look for it. Look for it. Look for the way. Look with your eyes and feel with your body. Okay? Look with your eyes and feel with your body. Thank you for listening. You guys, if this resonated with you, please share it. That is what she's asking me to do. I'm like, literally, you want me to spam people? Yes. If this resonates with you, that's what you can do. You can share it. You can comment on the social media posts. You can share the social media posts. You are sharing a frequency. You can do none of that, and you can go into Trader Joe's or wherever you grocery shop, and you can bring the energy and literally know that everything that you do, you're bringing the energy. You can bring the only love is real energy to wherever you go, or you can share this podcast. You listen to you, you know what to do. You listen to you, you know what to do. Okay? I love you all, deeply, to the deepest part of my being. I love you. And Keira loves you. And thank you, thank you, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you. I love you. And we'll see what comes next.